31-year-old male patient with a professional diver. Actually, he's a frogman in the Navy. One of his routine controls, the physician discovered something odd with the ECG, and here's the ECG, surface ECG. You see, it's quite obvious that there's a pseudo right bundle block with a delta wave, and you see here starts with the V1 to V5. There's an all overt delta wave on the D1 and also in the AVL, and also there's negative ones like a Q wave in the tree and the AVF. So it looks like a left side and mostly lateral, posterolateral side axillary pathway. It is. It's a manifest pre-excitation on the ECG. So patient is referred to us to for examination, and then we told the patient about the risks because he's a professional diver. He may have the risk of death in the depths of sea. So he, of course, accepted the ablation procedure, and then we have him on the operation table. It's the beginning of the case. You see, there's a with RV pacing, the earliest VA conduction is in the CS distal part, and now we check if it is decremental or not with the programmed stimulus from the RV pace, RV catheter, and tachy started immediately, but it's not sustained. So it's during the case it was never sustained, only 5 or 10 beats. So we just evaluated the antegrade refractory period of the AV node and the axillary phase. So you see we go so fast and so small cycles, and the ERP is maybe 220, maybe 230. We didn't push so much then, and then we evaluated that this axillary pathway was a high risk one, and because of the patient's profession, we decided to ablate it. After septostomy, we're now in the left atrium. We skipped the septostomy part, and we're now trying to set our window of interest for mapping. We By the way, I must say that my approach for these kind of extra pet bases mostly mapping under RV pacing. So because sometimes it's easier to find the ventricular atrial exit of the axillary pathway, and it's most crucial if the patient has a concealed AVRT with a manifest pre-excitation. We have to ablate the ventricular atrial exit, I may say, with the retrograde way, because sometimes when you ablate the antegrade part of the axillary pathway, the concealed part still leaves sometimes, and it may still maintains the tachycardia. So I prefer mostly under pacing. So we started as always with RV pacing and set the window of interest. You see here it's an open window. So what is open window mapping? We have a huge window, and we do not, you know, we always accept the all the potentials in the window, and we just collect the ones with the bigger amplitudes. So it is atria or the ventricle, no problem. We collect which one is the bigger. So we start, and you see here the LAT starts red from here, the left lateral view. So because the conduction starts from the ventricle and goes through the atria, the LAO and the LL, you see cat is now in the left atrium, and you may see now here the tip of the catheter records this kind of potential, and there are two potentials actually here, and more narrower V interval here than this distal. And you see the big one here is the A, and we pick here the A wave, but also here also we're still in the atrial side. You see there is a line with the mixed colors. It's the annulus. So it's a natural block. So there is a small conduction here, and we're still in the atrial side. And of course, it's the bigger here. The A potential is bigger than V. So we collect the A in here. So we go again, and here A, and here maybe here here also they are similar, but also here we collect the A here because it is absolutely bigger potential than the ventricle. So we are now in the ventricle side, obviously, and it's red, starts from here. Here we collect this potential. Here there is no A wave. If there was one, we would still collect the bigger one. Here also we're still in the ventricle, so we have this potential in our recording. And also here, we're now in the atria. They are very similar, so that's no problem. After adjustments, that will be no matter. Collection here, and maybe in the ventricle here you see there is a far field A here and a big huge V wave. So we're in the ventricle, so we pick now the V potential here. Some authors say that you can also get benefit of the unipolar potentials. You can collect the biggest unipolar potential, whatever it is here. Also, there's a unipolar potential which it's also big here, may show us to the right pathway, and we collect here the V potential. So we go again, it's very fast. Here you see color code is going red to purple because the connection starts from the ventricles, goes through the AV node and the both axillary pathway, and then goes to the latest stop of the conduction is the atrium posterior side, so it's purple. So nothing here unusual. Here also we have some potentials. Look, there's a negative and positive and negative, and this one is we only in this method I chose to pick the positive biggest wave. So the positive biggest wave is here, not here. Here is also some AV, and also it looks like a good place to start with ablation because it's nearly very close, very narrow VA interval. But of course, we didn't try here, but we put some, impressions in this. Here also a nice potential here. You can see both V far field and the A also here, and we see the positive biggest wave is here. Potential is here, the A wave, so we pick it here. So it's very slowly constructing a good map here. We have some potentials. A is not ahead of the CS distance A, but also not bad place. This shows that we are on the path of the axillary pathway. We are on the road, but we are not in the critical place, not in the narrowest place of the pathway. So we try searching. We're going picking the signals here. Here also, it's separate and a large A wave here because we're in the atria and we're a bit far from the extrapolate wave, which is supposed to be here. See, it slowly occurs here, red, yellow, smooth transition, green, blue, and purple. Not like this, not an abrupt transition. It's a smooth transition with mostly green. So it looks like the conduction goes through this passage in the lateral wall. So we here again. Sometimes touch starts and we don't pick any points. Sometimes there's a pace failure, we don't pick points. And mostly here also we're in the ventricle and there is only one. Maybe we're in the matter annulus. It's very diminished potential. Here you see also mixed potential here, but you see the device always chooses the bipolar mostly positive one amplitude here. So device picks the correct points here. Very similar because it's the true annulus, the marginal annulus. So it must be equal here, of course. So it's really equal and a good point for ablation also. We don't see the Kent potential here, but it's a good point for ablation, in my opinion. So we go again, we try to make sure here also. Now we will check all the collected points. Our technician Ahmet here also very good potential. Checks all of them. If the device picked the wrong potential, which may cause failure of mapping. But as you see, no problems, always RV pacing, always picking the positive biggest point, largest point. And here you see we're wandering around here, and there are always fused potentials, and also the pathways, just as I said before, goes like this. This smooth transition shows, yes, here is the pathway, but we must find the better best place with the candy potential, of course. Yes, we set the color bar. We try to do an early mid slate, an exaggerated early mid slate here to to emphasize on the to emphasize on the pathway. Looks like here the early mid slate here, very sharp, very sudden transition. But here also, no, it goes like that. It's spread. It's maybe a slanted potential. It's a slanted pathway maybe because it's like a spectrum here. And here, look, it's now on the sinus rhythm also. We pick these points while RV pacing on sinus rhythm. There is no Kent potential here. AV, but all separate. It's interesting here. You see, maybe we are now going somewhere. No, here our V is ahead of the surface ECG. Yes, it's a good place, but there is no chance that I could notice actually, to be honest. And we are going through. We check this place on the science system if it is a correct place because our map was on the RV pacing. And here, you see, with RV pacing, let's go there. On sinus and RV pacing, it's a good potential here. But on sinus, it's like this, actually. No fusion. Actually, they're pretty apart. So technician still checks these points again, and RV pacing, yes, start RV pacing again. Good potentials here, likely fused, very good potentials here. We try to make sure that the pathway's magnitude in the anodes site. So this is interesting. We may talk about this potential. I don't know. Fused potentials. Yes. And LAT map propagation. Here we can see that colors going smoothly from lateral to atrial posterior side and the upper roof of the left atrium. So it's here, the passage is like this with the exaggerated early slate setting. Here also we are trying to update here, but you see there's no Kent, there's no fusion, it's actually separated. But no worries because it's a good place. We started pacing, under pacing we'll do the ablation. Now these you can see, yes, here and goes in maybe 2 seconds. This situation is at hand due to stability problem because of the situation. Atrium stops contracting and the catheter moves smoothly, but no problem. We go back to where we started and doing some more ablation here. Maybe 1 or 2 minutes we'll ablate this point. And here still we do our repacing, and you see there's no connection over the axillary pathway here. Actually, this was the first shot, but we couldn't be on the stably on the endocardia, so we skipped that part and started from here, from the back. Maybe it's an anatomical problem. Maybe there's the leaflet stops our stabilization. Yes, ablation stopped, and you see there's no delta wave. We didn't do under sinus rhythm. We didn't see the axillary pathway antegrade abolishment, but we saw the posteriorly retrogradely abolishment. And now we checked atrial pacing. And now X-ray pathway. We go for the Venkaba after this. And we will force a little bit. You see it's spreads A and V. And actually there is the Venkaba, which is over 300, which is good. Still,
Dr. Osman, I think we lost you. I think Dr. Osman he has a problem with the internet, so let's wait a little bit till he comes back because like we have tons of questions here.
Yes. But this is very interesting, Dr. Muhammad Saeed.
Well, actually, I mean, like when
he
he
showed
used,
us a case before.
yeah, I mean, like when he used the peak positivity as a way to identify the speed of progression. This is quite interesting for me. That's why I have a lot of questions. I mean, like for me, it's delta V. I mean, it's the slew rate actually, which is defined, but the peak positivity. I mean, this is something new. So we have tons of questions, and apparently he has a Columbus with an automatic annotation software that we don't have it. So
we have Ahmed Karakot.
Dr. Osman is back, I guess.
Dr. Osman.
I think we lost like 3 minutes. And we don't hear you. Actually, you are muted, actually.
Sorry, I'm back. Okay. I don't know if there's a connection problem, but I can go again.
We were waiting until you did the atrial pacing and the Wenckebach and the Wenckebach cycle.
Yeah.
That was the last slide.
I'm going to.
Yes, we can give you some questions.
Now do you hear? Okay, do you hear me, by the way?
Yes, we hear you very well.
So...
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, we were here after Wenckebach. We did some... do you hear me?
Yes, we do hear you.
Yeah, okay. We did some atrial pacing in order to seek for another axial pathway or a slow pathway, which may cause some trouble in the future. So it's decremental and nodal connection between atria and the ventricle, so no problem. We're just showing this, no jumps, no echo beats, etc. And after that, we will do some RV pacing again to see if there is still dissociation or nodal concentric activation. After atrial pacing, we will see that. It's prolonged here, atrial pacing. We're sure that there is decremental AV conduction, and we didn't induce any preexcitation. So it's okay. It looks like okay. So we're pacing again. We will now start for the still some decremental pacing here. Program, yes. And there is, let's see here again, at 500 and 320, it stops with the ends with the AV block, so still no preexcitation. We are sure that it's antegradely abolished, and now we will go for the retrogradely. Yes, you see there is a retrograde Wenckebach wider pacing, so no problem. We put some lesions here along the pathway. Not much needed, but I just want to be sure that I ablated it enough. So here we can see a nice pathway goes like this and this. And these places we have some good far field signals. And maybe we can skip this part. And let's see this open window again. Maybe it will be good for our view. Starts from ventricle, starts from still again, yes. And then without, yes, we now do it again. It's exaggerated early state. Clearly there's a pathway there. And we had many points, over 100 points, mostly localized here in the area of interest, of course. And now this is the automatic color scale. Our casing goes through the left bundle and left lateral wall, propagates like here, and spreads through the left atria. And we have some ablation on the pathway in order. What can I show you more? And this is the last ECG after the case. PR is long and it's obvious. No delta wave here. V2 is now smaller because delta wave is abolished, and also V1, that pseudo right bundle, pseudo incomplete right bundle, is also abolished. And there are pseudo Q waves which were actually negative delta waves. They disappeared also. Nice ECG in the end of the case. Thank you.
Dr.
It was a pleasure.
Osman, I'm Dr. Mohammed Al Saeed, the electrophysiologist at the National Heart Institute in Egypt. So I have tons of questions for you. So if you have time for this, so well, apparently
please.
you haven't. I mean, like we have very few systems of Columbus in Egypt, and apparently you have a newer version where you have like an automatic annotation software that we don't have it here in Egypt. So I don't know, what is the name of this software again for the Columbus with the automatic annotation? One like the Confidence or the AutoMap of the Navex. So
actually,
which one?
I must ask for the technical person with the who is also in this meeting because of the special name auto annotation. But I don't know if the company has a brand name for that, like Confidence and etc.
Okay, because
I think
it's
there is
an
not.
automatic annotation software. That's right.
Yeah, it's automatic.
Okay,
I want to
can
say
you come back a
something,
little
Zach.
bit for, I mean, like one slide which shows a breakthrough from the RV to the into the left atrium, from the LV to the left atrium.
Let's see. That's
well,
you mean
I mean, like this, it's okay. It's okay. I mean, like it's I mean, it's a photo, it's an image which show really a very interesting, like the gap of conduction from the LV across to the left atrium across the mitral annulus. So, and normally we can see it. I mean, like this is, I mean, theoretically, it's the speed of conduction. It is the speed of the wave propagation, rather than, I mean, like when we do it conventional early missed late. So, two things.
Yeah,
I mean,
of
like
course,
in this
of course.
software. Sorry.
Of course, it's not early missed late, but we exaggerate it and we do some adjustments in the color code. So we diminish the other colors, all of them. We just
Yeah.
leave the red and the purple. That's because that looks like an early missed late. Of course, it's actually a late acceleration and deceleration zone. Actually, these ones
Yeah.
are deceleration zones because it's a natural block.
Yeah, but I mean, like
You're right.
what I mean here, to show a gap like this, I mean, like of propagation across the mitral annulus, it depends on the speed of the wave propagation rather than anything else. I mean, like as a way of measurement. And that's why I was asking, why did you choose the peak positivity in bipolar rather than a slew rate delta V over delta T in bipolar or unipolar? Why did you prefer the peak positivity in bipolar? Because it also depends on the orientation of electrodes compared. I mean, like to have the peak positivity in bipolar, it depends on the orientation of the electrode compared to the wavefront propagation, rather than the delta V over the delta T, which will not bipolarly blinded.
Okay,
Is it clear my question? I mean, like, why did you choose a peak positivity rather than the delta V over the delta T to show the speed of propagation?
Okay, I'll come there because there are some articles about this mapping, and this is, you're right, it started with the delta V delta T. the differential of the dPdt. Actually, this method is very useful for multipolar maps, mapping cutters, because they always use this dPdt and unipolar recordings. They utilize the unipolar recordings. Some of them, some of case ports with just like me did the single cutter, not a multiple cutter, because at hand in now we don't have the multiple cutter mapping cutter with Columbus. We don't have it yet. But what they have, they have the Easy Star, just like the Pentray cutter, but it's not on the market of this Middle East and Asia. So we have to do it with the single ablation cutter. So I get benefit of this some case ports which utilize other mapping systems, but with only single ablation cutter, and they also use the one of them use the most positive unipolar, the other one use the most positive bipolar. In some I did many open windows, and in some I DPDT. Some of them I utilized just like this, the positive biggest. Actually, it didn't make too much difference. So this is easier for me to check with my eye rather than DPDT. But I think the device is auto-collecting the DPDT. I'm not that sure because of the technical
Yeah,
part,
yeah, because
but
this is
I
what I
think
was questioning
yeah,
actually. Is it
yeah.
if there is any automatic annotation here which is not shown that the device is calculating on it? Because what I mean, like,
Yes, device
okay,
is
what I'm
device
afraid
is
here,
picking DPDT. Yeah.
I mean, like, just to depend on the big positivity of the bipolar signal, I might be easily bipolarly blinded by it, rather
Look
than
at
using the slew rate.
Saeed, this is the latest technology of Columbus, which I saw it in Turkey with Dr. Antar.
Yes.
They are imitating Biosense, the cartoon machine, in a very, very simple way. Dr. Osman, he chose the sharp positive deflection like the one we use in the conventional mapping. We use the sometimes in conventional mapping you want to see the signal real, not the fractionated earlier one. So he fixed his point of choosing where to map and what to choose during mapping. So that was, and in electrophysiology, if you do a technique and at the end you got the success, then you can use it again, right? So this is one of the methods he used, and he was very successful in using it. So
that's what I was, asking. Can I use a bipolar peak positivity?
Yes, he already used it, and he showed us that he
to show the speed of propagation, and that was my question actually.
The propagation is for the VA time. Yani, I want to explain to my fellows who are attending from all over Egypt and Africa that the propagation map is for the VA time which he was measuring.
Okay, so
cardia is propagating the VA interval. So this is as far as I understand. I want to ask Dr. Osman Yantar, what is the energy you were using in ablating this accessory pathway? How big is your watt? How much?
We can see from here. I mostly use 30 or 35 in these cases. So let's see. And I remember where we update, we'll see that. I just go a little bit, high watts because they are sometimes somehow persistent. They may reach epicardial regions also. So it may be a problem for us. So I use mostly 30 or 35 watts. Even if it is needed, we go higher, maybe 40, because sometimes it comes back very quickly. So, it's it's a troublesome position. And after 30 minutes, if it's not there, so no problem. But if it is here, still comes back, or with atrial pacing or V pacing, I can still induce a preexcitation, and I'm sure that it's abolished in first 5 seconds, for first 10 seconds, it's the correct phase. I go for the 40 watts maybe.
Okay.
With irrigated catheter also.
Okay. In our practice, we go to the max to 45 watts in the beginning, and when it goes, we go to 50, and we stay for this time, and we watch the impedance, and we watch the temperature, and we use irrigated tip. Of course, this is an irrigated tip catheter, right?
Yeah, irrigated, of course.
Yeah. Okay. We go to irrigated catheter to make deeper lesion. Okay. We have to move to the next. Thank you very much, Dr. Osman.
Thank you, Dr. Osman.
Thank you, Dr. Mohammed
Thank you.
Saeed.
It was a pleasure to be with you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. The chairman of the next